Welcome to this short video on how to use the SQL Server virtual machine for the first time, and then how to use this server to explore the AdventureWorks offline data cube that we give you using Excel. Firstly, open up any browser and then go to the https://myapps.shu.ac.uk address. You don't need to put the SHU at the end. When you've gone there, it should open this page for the virtual workspace. Put in your usual username and your usual password for the SHU system and click Login. This should take you to an area where you can look at the ACES Labs, open this, and then select the Data Warehouse module. A single click and it should open. Please do note, though, that you may not get any visual signs that it's opened straight away. Sometimes it takes a few seconds before anything happens. If you're using Internet Explorer, you'll go straight through to the password section. If you're using Chrome, you may get a small file that you're asked to save and then immediately open. Opening this file will then go to the password screen. Again, allow a little bit of time and eventually a completely black screen with some taskbar across the bottom should open. You are now in a SQL Server 2012 server, and you have full administration control over this machine. To set it up, we're going to need to add some tools to the taskbar that you can use later on. So, to do this, click on the Start tool on the very left bottom corner, and these are the tools that you can access, but there are a whole lot more behind the arrow. And then these are all the tools that are available. We're going to want to pin some of these to the taskbar. Scroll across until you can find the SQL Server Data Tools. Right-click and select Pin to Taskbar. That's going to add it to the menu across the bottom. We're also going to need to use SQL Server Management Studio. So again, find it, right-click and Pin to Taskbar. We're going to need to use Microsoft Access. Right-click, Pin to Taskbar. Excel. Right-click, Pin to Taskbar. And the final one will be Internet Explorer. That tends to be in the left-hand column, and we're going to right-click and Pin to Taskbar. Soon as we've done all of that, then we can hide away this panel, and clicking on the desktop takes us right back to the opening screen. And now you can see the 5 different tools that we've added to the taskbar. We have one other little piece of configuration to do first, and that is to open up Internet Explorer, and then go to the Tools, that little cog symbol in the right-hand top corner, select Internet Options, Security, Custom Level, and then scroll down until you find the point where downloads are listed. And in your system you should find download, file download, currently will be set to disable, and you need to change that to enable. So set it to enable and then OK. Yes, we do want to save those. And OK. This means you can now log on to Blackboard. Then, within the data warehousing, data mining area, select Learning Materials and select the Data Warehousing folder. Within the folder, scroll to select Week 1, and within that, look for Week 1 Practical, which is the attached files. We're going to save a copy of the AdventureWorks offline data cube. Right-click and save it somewhere on your virtual machine. We suggest the desktop. So save, but don't open it. We'll explain why in a moment, and you can minimize the browser. And then when you go back to the desktop, you should be able to find the file you've just downloaded, the AdventureWorks offline data cube. To open this, open Excel. But then resize Excel so that you can see both the data cube and the Excel spreadsheet. When you can do that, just drag the data cube into the Excel book, always enable it, and it should generate a layout like this. Because my screen is rather small, you'll be able to see more than this. And you'll find a set of 5 boxes on the right hand side. One is a field list, and here I can see various things with a sigma beside them, and various other dimensions. Again, you'll be able to see more of those than I can display on the screen. Let's select any one of those. For example, let's select the sales amount. If we tick that, it puts sales amount into the values box and displays the total sales value for our entire company ever, including all sales. We don't just have to look at the sales amount, we could look at the quantity of items sold. So here we can see that there have been over 63,000 different orders over the entire life of the company. Let's go back to sales amount, and if we look further down, we could look at marital status. Now, it's now showing the same total, the grand total of $29 million worth of sales, and it's split it now, it's drilled into married and single. And we can see there's a roughly equal split between sales to married and sales to single people. Let's look at whether we're selling equally to house owners. Oh, by the looks of it, people who don't own houses are buying our products at nearly 5 times the rate than house owners are. Let's look at gender. It looks that females are buying marginally larger number of products than males, but only just. So we've looked there at a different number of dimensions. We could also look at the dates of sales. And we've now drilled in to the different years of sales, 2005, 6, 7, and now 2008 is smaller than the others, I think largely because the year wasn't finished by the time the data samples were taken. And we could drill further and look at the months. We could even look down at the individual day levels. Let's drill up and in fact take away the entire date dimension just by dragging it out of the way. We could scroll down and find the individual day names. We can either tick this or drag this, and it will give us the different days that we are selling on, and we could look at the pattern of sales over these days. We could then go back and look at a second dimension at the same time. For example, let's look at the marital status. We could tick, and that would give us, we can't quite see it here, day name and marital status. But if we take one of these across, we're now going to have a row across the top, columns down. In fact, if I had a little bit more room, I'll just move these up a little bit, switch these over. That's perhaps a better layout. It's now showing the days and the different rates of sales. Looking at tables like this can be a little bit mind-boggling. If we go for Insert and a graph, I think in this case I'll go for a column graph, and because we've got a table, I think I'll go for the 3-dimensional columns. So you can now see the days across the bottom, because we put the days across the bottom, and we've got the marital status going backwards because we have the marital status here, and you can change the format of the graph if you want. We could go for a line graph, and it shows it in a slightly different pictorial manner. So the key thing is we wanted to show you in this demonstration is how to set up your SQL Server virtual machine, and you did that by going right into the details, selecting the 5 tools that we'll use in the module and pinning these to the taskbar. These are these here. We then used a browser to download a pre-written cube, and we opened the cube just by dragging it into Excel, and then from Excel you can select the different measures and select the different dimensions, and even drill into the different dimensions. To finish, there's no need to save. You don't need to save the Excel at all, because in fact we haven't changed anything. That cube is read only. We've only viewed the cube, not changed it. And then to get out of the virtual machine, the easiest thing to do is actually just close the whole machine, and then when you come to open it again, you'll just be able to go back to the virtual workspace, log back in, and you'll be back to where you were earlier. So, I hope you've seen how to use the SQL Server virtual machine for the first time, and then how to explore the AdventureWorks offline data cube using Excel. Thank you for watching this video.